So what do you think is important about the public's trust in a vaccine once we have a vaccine in terms of distribution?
Yeah, we're not in a good place there, Rashida, because there is a baseline level of anti-vaccination in the country that goes back before COVID-19 and relates to the measles, mumps, rubella, and those types of attitudes about which are not based on science, that are just based on falsified data. So we have a task on our hand. We have got to reach out in a very strong way to the community, to be transparent with them. And when I say reach out, I mean engage the community with people that the community trusts. And this is particularly true of the minority populations because of the historical understanding of the mistrust that African Americans and to some extent Latinx have about the federal government. It dates back to historic, shameful things that have happened, but they are very skeptical about getting vaccinated. So, you have a scientific task of developing a safe and effective vaccine, and you have a PR task of making sure people understand why it's important for them and their families to get vaccinated.
I think the positive thing is if you get 30 or 40% of the population that's willing, and then the rest of the population sees that those people didn't have side effects, that in fact they will come along and we'll get up to the high percentage, probably over 70%, that we'd eventually like to vaccinate to have transmission exponentially decline instead of go up. Are you worried about the fact that the military's been pulled into this delivery process, people perceiving that in a strange way, Tony?
Yeah, Bill, I think you make a good point. I've heard that multiple times, that people don't fully appreciate what the military is doing in this. And it's really simple. It's a logistic challenge to get supply chain, particularly when you need a cold chain. Some of the vaccines require very stringent requirements for temperature control, very, very low temperatures. So when this process called Operation Warp Speed came about, it had two elements to it. One scientific, which is led by a former head of a pharmaceutical company who makes vaccines, Moncef Slaoui. He used to be with GlaxoSmithKline. And then because this is a collaborative effort with the Department of Defense, the Department of Defense came in and got us their chief logistics supply chain person who has great experience and talent in moving things from place to place, tanks and planes and things like that. So he's gotten involved in helping out in the supply chain and the availability. The military is not going to be making the vaccine. They're not going to be administering the vaccine. Yet when people hear military, they immediately think it's another conspiracy, when in fact it's not.
It's just about efficiency and getting it to as many people as possible.
Exactly.